overload. Why? Why? Why autism? In my life. Today we're talking about sensory overload. So after the 4th of July, you can imagine that some people that's on the spectrum are being diagnosed with having autism, either higher function or lower function, may have had a tough time with the fireworks yesterday and last night, and may had something called sensory overload. So what is sensory overload? Sensory overload, it happens when you're getting more input from your 5 senses than your brain can sort through. So you're getting so much information a lot of times that people that's on the spectrum, and this happens with typical people too, like their brain can't process like what just happened. It can be either multiple conversations going on in one room, flashing overhead lights. It can be loud partly. It can just be anything that's happening a lot. Like one of the things we talk about is that sensory or oversensory at the game. Well, I wanted to kind of chime in specifically about how sensory overload can happen on the 4th of July. So I was listening and watching some of the fireworks yesterday, and of course thinking about some people are covering their ears and some people are running away, trying to find somewhere that they can hear their thoughts. Yesterday, my son was actually with his mom, so I didn't have a chance to really film him. And sometimes I don't want to film him. I don't want him to be like the guinea pig all the time. But I know for him, I'm very fortunate enough that sensory overload doesn't happen to him very much. There's been a few times in the past that, like I said before in prior videos, that he have an oral fixation. So sometimes when he was overstimulated, he would have to put his fingers in his mouth, or he has something kind of chewy toy that he'll bite on or something like that. And that really just helped calm him down. It just helped ease his mind, and it just calmed him overall. It calmed him and prevented a lot of sensory issues. But I wanted to make this video just because sensory overload is real, and for those who may have experienced it yesterday and didn't know exactly what it was, if you had a child that was covering their ears, or maybe even start sibbing. So sibbing is self-injury behaviors. That's when you might see somebody biting on their hand. They sometimes slapping themselves or doing like this, or they sometimes doing like this. If they stretching their bones so far that seems like it hurts. Well, that's a lot of times to help them make sense of what's going on. So it's really important when you're working with someone that's on the spectrum for you to understand that their senses play a huge role in either how that environment is going to be, how that day is going to shape out. So always be cognizant of where you're at, who you're around, and how loud it is, especially when dealing with someone that's on the spectrum. I wanted to make a point to do this just because, I wanted to do it last night while the fireworks was going on, but I decided just to kind of put in an image of fireworks and then kind of play the sound. So you can kind of get an idea of how loud it can be. I really want you to go back, if you can, and kind of zoom in on those sounds, and maybe even turn it up louder to kind of imagine what someone on the spectrum would hear. And you got to multiply that by 10, because they'll hear like the sharp sounds, the pings and the whistles of the fireworks. So it can be a lot. So thank you for this minute. Thank you for this time, and thank you for watching and sharing the information. Again, Autism in the Hood is going to be an ongoing series, and we're talking about different things that affect us that we may not understand. Today was sensory overload, specifically when it comes to fireworks, and I'll start talking about sensory overload in video games, and sensory overload in sporting and entertainment events at a later date. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, and as always, YSCDC, hashtag YSCDC, Autism in the Hood, hashtag Black for Autism. Share the video. If there's any questions, go ahead and email me or call me. Have a great day, and as always, donations are always accepted. YSCDC, making autism real for those who don't know about it, and bring the solution for those who don't.